Okay, today we're going to talk about trigonometric ratios. This is something you probably did in geometry, but let's take a look at some of the trig ratios that we're going to be dealing with. There's three different types of trig ratios. There's the sine trig ratio, the cosine trig ratio, and the tangent trig ratio. Now, this is for right triangles, and usually what we do is we have an angle that we are talking about. Usually we give like a little, this is called theta. That's the name we give an angle, is theta. Anyway, the sine, if you're looking at the angle theta and you say that these three sides are A, B, and C, the sine, what we say is the sine of theta is equal to, and then it's basically you're going to be talking about two different side lengths within this right triangle. And the sine of theta is the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of theta is equal to the side adjacent divided by the hypotenuse, and the tangent is the side opposite divided by adjacent. Okay, let me erase this. Let's get a little bit more room here. Okay, so those are the three different trig ratios and how to find them within a right triangle. All right, so let's say we have A here, B here, C here, and theta here. Okay, now I could have, if I'm looking at angle theta, and I want to know what the sine of this angle is right here, I would say that the sine of theta is equal to the side opposite A divided by the hypotenuse, which is the diagonal side C. And that would be my answer, A over C. Now usually you have numbers here and you have an angle here like 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees. Cosine of theta is the same idea, except for it is the side, let's erase that arrow here, that's the side opposite. The side adjacent to theta would be the B side. So you'd say B divided by, and the hypotenuse is C. And then the last one I'll do up here is tangent of theta. So tangent of theta is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So A over B. Okay, so let's actually try this. Oh, there's another thing I want to say is there's an acronym that is very popular called SOHCAHTOA. This was around when I was even in high school. So anyway, the SOHCAHTOA is an acronym. So these three letters represent the sine ratio, these three letters represent the cosine, and these three letters represent the tangent. So the S stands for sine, so the sine is equal to opposite, that's what the O represents. The H represents the hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. So you have your C, A, H right here in the middle, and then the tangent is equal to the side opposite divided by the adjacent. Okay, and so you have your T, O, A there. All right, so let's take a look now with some numbers and try and figure out all three trig ratios. So we could put the angle theta up here, which would now change what opposite is. It would change what adjacent is, like we did before, but that doesn't really matter. So if I had, say, like 5, 12, and 13 right here, okay, and I wanted to know what is the sine of theta. Well, the sine of theta is equal to the side opposite, 12, divided by the hypotenuse, 13. And that's the sine of theta right there. The cosine of theta, let's erase our arrows here. The cosine of theta, if you look at your acronym SOHCAHTOA, would be the side adjacent. So the side adjacent would be 5 divided by 13, the hypotenuse. So 5 over 13. And there's your cosine. The tangent would be the last one. The tangent of theta would be the side opposite divided by the side adjacent, which would be the 5. And that's how you would find. There's a con practice that you guys have to do, the first one this week, that deals a lot with this right here and finding these 3 different trig ratios. So good luck, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know.